you're still thinking about how you can brighten up the new year for yourself, we might have just a place for you. Now, you could call them, but do not press pound. You can see all about it tonight on NEOtropolis. This is not business as usual. Welcome to NEOtropolis. We are not business as usual. Hi, I'm your host, Jim Evans. Tonight we have a special show for you animal lovers. Even those who don't consider themselves as such may enjoy our quality time spent with an animal rescue organization in Northeast Ohio that is truly unique for everyone involved. You won't want to miss it, and we'll get you to that shortly. But first, we take a look at regional business news from the NEOtropolis Good Business News Aggregator.
This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for the week of January 10th. Tuesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that the John S. and James L. Knight Foundation has awarded a $2 million grant to the Fund for Our Economic Future, a regional organization focused on economic competitiveness. Tuesday's Akron Beacon Journal Community section reports that the Akron City Council approved an incentive package to entice Rüschling Automotive, a German company that makes high-performance plastics for the automotive industry, to pick Akron for a $15 million facility the company plans to build. The plant would employ 115 employees in the first 3 years of operation. The company is expected to make a decision on its newest location by the end of the month. Wednesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that Mentor's 50-year-old Great Lakes Mall is getting a multi-million-dollar facelift. Real estate owner and developer Simon Property Group Incorporated of Indianapolis indicates that the repainting, renovating, and modernizing will be finished next fall. Also, Wednesday's Cleveland Plain Dealer Business section reports that Cleveland-based Cliffs Natural Resources Incorporated is spending $4.9 billion to buy Consolidated Thompson Iron Mines Limited, a Toronto-based iron ore producer. Thursday's Akron Beacon Journal Business section reports that sometime in March, Indianapolis-based appliance and electronics retailer H.H. Gregg is moving from its current location across the street from Chapel Hill Mall in Akron to the plaza at Chapel Hill off of Howe Avenue. A company spokesperson says that the new site puts the store closer to other major retailers and will allow for wider aisles and larger display areas for television and appliances. Thursday's Kent Record Courier front page reports that according to Streets Bureau Mayor Art Scott, 400 to 550 new industrial jobs will be coming into the city during 2011. Streets Bureau Planning and Economic Development Director Jeff Pritchard said that 2 existing businesses are thinking of expanding and several others are thinking of moving into the city. Mayor Scott declined to name any of the businesses involved. This is the good business news along the I-77 corridor for this week. NEOtropolis is your source for good business news.
Along with all of the usual informative and entertaining elements that we bring you on NEOtropolis, tonight's show is focused on a real pet project. We'll share that with you in a few moments. But right now, we connect with our content partner, the Business Journal. It's time for the Weekly Buzz.
I'm Stacia Ertis with the Business Journal Weekly Buzz for Youngstown and the Mahoning Valley. Some big development plans for the Winter Companies just over the Pennsylvania border in Sharon. Site work begins this week on a $6.5 million Hampton Inn and Suites going up at the Route 80 corridor adjacent to the Radisson Hotel in Shenango Township, also owned by Winter Companies.
We felt that there was a need in talking to some of our local business people to have an upscale type facility there that would attract, both the business traveler as well as someone that's looking to more of a suite type facility.
In other development news, Campbell tells us Winter wants to convert one of the buildings at the former Westinghouse property into an incubator aimed at capitalizing on the Marcellus Shale development. Campbell says they're considering working in some type of collaboration with Marcellus Shale related companies for a research and development facility at the Sharon site. The Youngstown area bucks the national trend when it comes to bankruptcies. The U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Northern District of Ohio reports that the number of bankruptcies filed in 2010 was down 3% from 2009. That contrasts with data from the American Bankruptcy Institute showing the number of bankruptcies declared nationally rose 9%. The region's artists are on display at the Butler Institute of American Art. This is the 73rd year for the Area Artists Annual Exhibition. This pastel painting won Best in Show. It's titled The Studio, and it's the work of Francis Leonard of Kent. The popular juried event features works in all media by artists living within a 40-mile radius of Youngstown. The exhibit runs through February 6th. In the January edition of the Business Journal, the 5 most intriguing people in the Valley of 2010. Dennis LaRue spotlights Betty Jo Licata, the Dean of Youngstown State University's College of Business Administration.
Betty Jo Licata is proof a successful businesswoman can have it all.
They'd probably be surprised to know that I'm a crazy soccer mom or tennis mom or softball mom who can run along the sidelines screaming like a maniac.
Read more in the January edition of the Business Journal. And those are this week's headlines. Be sure to check out the Buzz newscast every business day online at businessjournaldaily.com. I'm Stacia Urtis. We'll see you next week.
And now it's time for a Neotropolis fact.
Did you know that 3 out of 4 jobs in Northeast Ohio's high-tech industries are in non-high-tech occupations? From 2007 to 2008, Northeast Ohio's employment in high-tech industries grew by 1.8%, or 3,025 jobs, surpassing the remainder of Ohio and the Midwest in its rate of growth.
So you're thinking of, or you know of someone who may want to adopt a pet. If so, it's very important to be selective and work with the right people, agency, or organization. There are many out there, but one that we found truly stands out right in Akron. The one-of-a-kind pet rescue strives to place pets in good homes while serving an important and compassionate function in the community. Sarah Taylor paid a visit there and takes a closer look, and who knows, you just might find your next best friend.
On this busy stretch of West Market Street in West Akron, there's a unique place tucked behind the retail stores. To look at it from a distance, you might think it's a daycare center or maybe a children's play place. There are places to play in here, but it's not for kids, it's for pets. This is one-of-a-kind pet rescue, and this facility is one reason why here it's not business as usual.
We always joke we don't know who's happier, the employees or the animals.
Happy because one-of-a-kind pet rescue is no longer crammed into a 1,400 square foot space adjacent to a gas station. In October, the 5-year-old organization moved into this brand new 9,000 square foot building located on the site of the old Fairlawn bowling lanes.
This entire facility was built with the animals in mind. What was very, very obvious at the old facility was that these animals were kept in cages, and we represented, upon approach to an animal, food, water, or being walked. So they had what we would call cage rage. You know, they were so excited to see us and they couldn't wait to get out of the cage. And so if a potential adopter came around and the same reaction was had, you know, the animal's crazy, doesn't show well, and therefore limited their opportunity for adoption. So when we built this facility, we went into it with the idea that absolutely everything would be built around the animals. That's first and foremost. So you see a lot of glass here. The glass enables the animal to observe us while we're observing them. And upon approach for a potential adopter, we no longer represent food, water, and being walked. You know, we're just coming in to do a visit. They show much better. They place much faster.
And in its short history, One of a Kind has built quite a successful record of placing animals in good homes.
Okay, I'm handing her off to you.
We kept looking in Pittsburgh and never did really find the dog that he wanted, and just happened to come in here and found this cutie pie. They spent a lot of time with me, took time to answer all the questions, and found out a lot about me.
And the last thing we want to do is set up a potential adopter or an animal for failure. So what we do is they have to do a matchmaker questionnaire, and we start there with an interview, and it's an in-depth interview, and we do refuse adoptions.
Most of the time, they don't have to, and the placement numbers for 2010 reflect that.
Our goal was 1,000, and we're well over 1,000 this year. We did 953 last year, and that's the reward. The reward is the little kids, the families, you know, the pictures we get back from saying that, you know, I adopted from you 2 years ago and this is what our puppy looks like now. You know, the reward of just seeing these animals in a less special, especially now with this facility, this less stressful environment.
Dawn Pokorny is the director of the adoption center. Since its move to the more spacious surroundings, she's had to hire someone to manage the retail store inside the center, which also now offers services to the community, including grooming.
He loves getting this stuff out.
Doggy daycare, and soon behavior training. All those services and sales from the store are intended to generate funds to help cover operating costs.
It looks promising. You know, you always worry because when you're a bright, shiny new penny and a new trophy out there and everybody's coming out of the woodwork to see you, learn about you, and know you, you don't want that to wear off and for people to forget about you after they've experienced it.
If this woman is any indication, One of a Kind needn't worry. She and her husband already have 3 cats adopted from the old center, and they keep coming back for products to care for their kitties.
I bought something to spray on my cat's tail to keep him from biting it.
The new center's glass enclosures show off many of the animals available for adoption, but not all.
Hi, Heidi.
At any one time, One of a Kind has up to 200 animals available, though it's very thorough about caring for those animals and making sure they're healthy before they're put up for adoption.
So you didn't have a good life, but you're going to have a good life. When they come in, they're tested for medical illness immediately. They're given their first vaccine. They're administered rabies. They're given their second and third vaccine, sometimes a fourth, depending on how long they've been with us. They're always spay and neuter. If we uncover any illness at all, they are treated for their illness.
That care is administered by One of a Kind's full-time vet at its spay and neuter clinic, which opened in 2007.
But until we offer the public affordable spay and neuter, you know, the fountain was never going to shut off. So then that was the brainstorm behind opening our spay and neuter clinic.
The animals rescued by One of a Kind can thank Lisa Holland Toth, who founded the organization, continues to serve as its board president, and was volunteering at the center the day we visited. The camera-shy Toth lets the employees do the talking, but they give her the credit for starting this organization that remains dedicated to its mission of rescuing animals in imminent danger of euthanasia. Toth saw a need when her own cat disappeared in 2005. Though she never found her cat, she has helped thousands of other animals find good homes.
I tell her for the last 6 years, it says, you're making history. You don't realize how big this is. You know, whether it's the little gas station shelter you started, you know, or this place that's 7 times bigger, the spay and neuter clinic. I says, you're making history. This is something for the community that you know, 50 years from now, people will just look back and just be so grateful.
Since its opening, One of a Kind spay neuter clinic here on West Exchange Street has kept nearly 30,000 animals from reproducing. But Georgette Thomas says that's just a fraction of what they could do. At full capacity, 70 animals a day could be spayed or neutered here. And that's a goal as One of a Kind continues to work toward reducing the number of unwanted pets. In Akron, I'm Sarah Taylor for Western Reserve PBS.
Are you not doing business as usual? Then email us at neotropolis.org. Tell us how you're changing your business, organization, or government agency to compete in the new economy. Who knows? You could be starring on Neotropolis, not business as usual. So we took a look at animal adoption and control from a microeconomic point of view. Now we talk with experts in the field for a macroeconomic perspective, or what we like to call fly-eye economics.
With over 4,000 lenses, the eyes of a common housefly are among the most complex in the insect world.
With us tonight are panelists Christine Fothery, Animal Control Manager with the Summit County Animal Control, Sharon Harvey, Executive Director with the Cleveland Animal Protective League, and Craig Stanley, Director of Administrative Services with the Summit County Animal Control. Folks, thanks so much for being with us. To start off, if you would, talk about the abandoned animal control situation we have in Northeast Ohio. Christine, we can start with you.
We see a lot of stray animals. All of our animals are running the streets. We do get a lot of animals from the city of Akron. We're Summit County Animal Control, of course. The majority of them, I'd say about 80%, are from the city of Akron. They're brought in from members of the public as well as the wardens that bring them in throughout the city.
The Cleveland Animal Protective League is a private nonprofit humane society, so as such we don't see stray dogs directly, although we do bring those in from some of our partner municipal shelters. But we see a tremendous number of stray cats because in Ohio there is no law providing for stray cats. and we are the biggest resource for those animals in our county.
And we are as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And we are as well. And in Summit County, we are one of the only animal control facilities,
yes.
dog pounds, if you will, that accept cats. Yeah. So we've taken that upon ourselves too. So stray cats as well, because Cuyahoga Falls and Akron have a cat ordinance, so citizens can actually capture the cats and bring them to us when they're running loose. So
why no state law for cats?
Good question, and something we're perpetually looking at. Right now, I think it's mostly a matter of resources, and to get something put in place, there are a lot of shelters that would need some fairly substantial renovation to provide for the sheltering of cats, and obviously here in Summit County, they have done that, but we'd sure like to see it go across the rest of the state. You also mentioned abandoned animals, and as part of our mission, that is something else that we deal with. We enforce the cruelty statutes for the state of Ohio, so we do see abandonment with respect to cruelty and neglect.
Yeah, there haven't been a lot of changes even to the dog laws over the years. About the most recent change has been the adding of breed-specific, the pit bull legislation, if you will, but they just don't modify those laws that often.
Do they need to?
I think they do. I don't think there's
Awesome.
any reason why you should license a dog and not a cat, especially since most of the time cats are the ones that people throw out the door to run loose and populate the area. The cat problem in Summit County is probably greater than the dog problem, quite honestly.
And a lot of people don't come for their cats. They assume they'll be back in a few days. So we've got cats that they don't come for, and they're just building up and building up and building up. And, they just assume, oh, they're on their own, they're okay now, we'll get another cat.
Exactly.
And then we have the same problem over and over and over developing with
People
the cats.
shouldn't assume that. We know what cats are like. So.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they do.
And from our standpoint, we'd like to see it provided so that there's a better capacity for stray cats, and so that we're more likely to get those cats back to their owners, and failing that, more likely to be able to get them adopted rather than seeing them euthanized.
Is our scenario here in Northeast Ohio typical of other communities around the country? Better, worse, or either or?
I believe that there's a cat problem everywhere. I mean, cats, I think dogs, it's less in certain areas. I've dealt with a lot of people in Colorado. They don't have a dog problem like we do at all. I think cats, anyone I've talked to, I don't know about you, but anyone I've talked to has the cat problem is horrendous everywhere. Everyone is having strong issues with stray cats.
Right. One of the things we partnered with PetSmart Charities on Rescue Wagon, and what they do is they take animals from a place of high population of shelter animals and transport them to places that have lower. So throughout the country, there are places that are more proactive, like Boulder, Colorado, some places in New York that we actually send animals to, and we're trying to emulate what they're doing, and it's going to take time, but we're going down the road. But with cats, those programs aren't out there, and like everybody was saying earlier, people just turn them loose and let them run the streets because they're cats, and that's what they do with their cats, and they put food out for them and everything, and then we end up with a lot more cats than we do with dogs right now.
And the spay and neuter is the same thing with the cats.
Well, and that is the tremendous, Brian. In states like New England, you can go into shelters and you virtually can't find a puppy, and even it's hard to find a dog.
And why is that in New England?
Because in many of the states in New England, there are state-recognized or supported spay-neuter laws and funding to help people to be able to afford the sterilization of their pet. For instance, in Rhode Island, it is the law that you have to have your cat sterilized. And places like the Cleveland Animal Protective League and places like One of a Kind Pet are looking to put low-cost programs in place so that people can get these animals sterilized. We sterilized more than 5,200 stray cats last year, with the hope of bringing down that birth rate and not having so many needing to come into shelters homeless.
And I would think One of a Kind Pets, they really do a phenomenal job in this community, in this area, of keeping the price down. It's like $35 for a male and $45 or something for a female. I mean, that's really a good price, and it's a quality service, So we're really happy to be partners with them. They're one of the rescue groups that come and get a lot of animals, probably over 300 cats last year they took from us, and, maybe 50, 60 dogs, and we work close with Paws and Prayers, another big group that takes a lot of animals. So we really want to encourage people, if you have not utilized that resource and you're looking for low-cost spay and neutering in Summit County, in the area, One of a Kind Pets is a great place to go.
They have a no time limit policy, I believe, at One of a Kind, when we saw in the story. Is that unique, or?
It's not unique to the rescue world. For us, we are the only agencies out there that are not allowed to be full. And what I mean by that is, by law, we have to take it if you bring it to us. So if we don't have room in the inn, if you will, we don't have room in the shelter, we got to make hard decisions sometimes. Over the past 3 years, we've been really good with dogs. We don't have to euthanize for space with dogs, utilizing the rescue groups and the PetSmart, and our own adoption rates are up this year since we moved into our new facility. Cats is a whole other story. We wish we didn't have to, but unfortunately, like I said, we can't hold our hand up and say we're full. Yeah. We have to take them by law when you bring them to us. So.
But with the rescues, that's when they do come into play hugely with the cats, as they come in and they'll take 30 cats, 40 cats at a time, which is huge for us because that does open up. Now, we fill it up really quickly, but it still gives us a break, to open those cages for, a week or two to fill, to have some space, which is nice.
Tough economy. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, and different than animal control, again, as a private humane society, we also have no time limits, but the way we manage that, because there is always the need for more animals to come in, is we do ask people to make appointments in advance so we can be sure that we have an open cage for that cat or that dog to come into. And of course, animal control, as mentioned, can't do that, and that is some flexibility that we do have.
Sure.
And also, we have spayed and neutered all of our adoptions that we adopt out. Everything is spayed or neutered, which is huge for us. We're not able to provide the service to spay and neuter people's animals that bring to us from the public, but we are able to alleviate somewhat of the problem that we would be participating in by adopting them out unsterilized. And this way, they are all spayed and neutered cats and dogs.
And I think that's been a tremendous shift for animal control. Is in the past, animal control did not necessarily sterilize prior to adoption. A large number of our animal control facilities are now doing that.
Right.
And I've got to say, if we want to minimize the problem of abandoned animals in our community, first and foremost, people have to spay and neuter, whether or not you think your animal might get pregnant, whether or not you let your cat outside, whether or not your dog ever gets loose. They have to be sterilized. And then we have to get people to come into our facilities to adopt rather than purchase animals through other routes.
We have just a little over a minute left, but a tough economy the last few years. How has that figured into the situation here in Northeast Ohio?
With this winter, we've seen record numbers of dogs, which is unusual. Usually we don't, it slows down a little bit in the winter because they're not breeding as much, not out and about as much and stuff. But this winter, we've seen really record numbers of dogs.
It's doubled with dogs this winter. Yeah, absolutely.
Any particular reason why dogs?
I don't know.
They cost more.
And cats are kind of the same, right?
Well, the economy figures into that.
Generally, they require more care. They require more time. A lot of rentals you can have a cat in, you might not be able to have a dog. And what we saw, we're Cleveland's animal cops, our cruelty investigators. What we see is more people moving away from their homes that they've lost and leaving the animals behind in the home abandoned rather than turning them in.
So the message for everybody again: you have a pet, spay and neuter.
Spay and
neuter
and
adopt. Spay and neuter and adopt.
There you are. Yes. You get that one in there as well.
Groups in your animal control facilities.
Yeah. Absolutely. Folks are doing a tremendous job. Thanks so much for being with us here this evening. Did a great job here tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Maybe your future includes a new pet. And with that, it's time now for Into the Future. Tonight with Jim Griggy of the Ohio Small Business Development Center.
Into the future. Hi, I'm Jim Griggy with the Ohio Small Business Development Center, located at the Akron Global Business Accelerator. The Ohio Small Business Development Center exists to help small businesses in many ways. We work with small businesses from cradle to grave, from I have an idea and I want to make a business out of it, to I'm starting a business and I just want to make sure I've got everything filed properly and set up properly, to I have a successful business and I want to grow it to the next level, to things aren't going the way we want them to, and we want someone else to come in and give us a fresh set of eyes and maybe help us do some disaster recovery before it's too late. We work with our clients with marketing plans, with financial statements, product development ideas. We work with clients in two ways. One way is direct one-on-one counseling, and the other is through monthly and quarterly seminars that we offer. On a monthly basis, we offer Business Basics, and Business Basics is all the considerations you might have in starting your own business. We also offer on a monthly basis a seminar on how to write a business plan, and that's exactly that. It's how to write a good business plan that's presentable to investors, to commercial loan officers, and other people who might be willing to put money into your business. On a quarterly basis, we offer something called Numbers Demystified, which is for existing businesses who need to get a little bit more information out of their financial statements, want to be able to read and understand the financials a bit better. You can reach us by phone at 330-375-2111, or you can reach us at our website, akronsbdc.org. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
If you watch us, you know we like to scan the financial landscape, and the experts from NCA Financial Planners are here to help us do that now with the Stock Wrap.
This week's local company stock spotlight is American Greetings. For more than 100 years, American Greetings Corporation has been engaged in the design, manufacture, and sale of everyday and seasonal greeting cards and other social expression products. The company's major greeting card brands are American Greetings, Carlton Cards, and Papyrus. With Valentine's Day next month, you most likely will come across these brands in the greeting card aisle. If you don't have time to go to the store, American Greetings has the largest collection of electronic greetings on the web, including cards available at AmericanGreetings.com through AG Interactive, the company's online division. Headquartered in Cleveland, Ohio, American Greetings employs approximately 18,000 full-time associates around the world and is home to one of the world's largest creative studios. American Greetings generates annual revenues of approximately $1.7 billion, and its products can be found in retail outlets domestically and worldwide. American Greetings trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol AM. The midweek close for American Greetings was $22.18. Year-to-date, the stock is a positive 0.09%, and over the last 5 years, the stock is a positive 1.32%. Back to you, Jim.
Along with having a pet, it's also healthy to take in some entertainment and culture as much as you can. We have a cool cat that keeps us informed on that. Cool Cleveland's Thomas Mulready joins us now to tell you about some other events that are going on in Neotropolis this weekend. What we're talking about is the business of fun.
Hey, it's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com, and this week we are talking about the magic of downtowns. It's a great place to go. In the middle of winter, there's often a lot of events going on. Often they're for families, and often they are very low cost. For example, in Akron, which has a really wonderful downtown that's very compact, you've got things like ice skating at Lock 3 all throughout the winter. They've got what they call Movies at Maine at the Akron Summit County Public Library, Festival of Nations at the Akron Civic, and they've got special guests and artists such as Cornel West, Lyle Lovett, John Hyatt, Earl Klug, all coming into places like E.J. Thomas and the Akron Civic. So check out downtown Akron. Over in Youngstown, a lot of cool skating going on for some reason. There's about 3 different skate places, one called the Skate Zone, the Youngstown Skate, and also Champion Roll Arena. So you can do some skating in Youngstown in the downtown area. They do wine tastings, and they've got theater like Pillow Man at the Youngstown Playhouse, and You Can't Beat the House at the Trumbull New Theater. And, of course, right here in downtown Cleveland, you want to check out the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that is doing a Springsteen exhibition. If you haven't seen it yet, it's fabulous. Of course, right behind me here, the Soldiers and Sailors Monument. They do tours all throughout the winter, not to be missed. The Old Stone Church, also right here on Public Square. They do brown bag concerts and music. The Great Lakes Science Center is opening a new exhibition called Facing Mars. Check out your local downtown for a lot of fun this winter. It's Thomas Mulready from CoolCleveland.com. Have a great week in Neotropolis.
Now remember, there are things that you could do to help the Northeast Ohio economy. It's simple. Think about it. All you have to do is get out to any of the events Thomas told us about and make your investment in fun. You can also position yourself out there and make some brilliant comments about the Northeast Ohio economy to the people at the pet store and tell them to spread the word. In the meantime, log on to our website, neotropolis.org, and tell us what you think. I'm Jim Evans. We'll see you next week on Neotropolis, Not Business as Usual.
Funding for Neotropolis has been provided by the Burton D. Morgan Foundation, committed to the free enterprise system. The Dominion Foundation. Jumpstart, working with entrepreneurs to accelerate the growth of their high-potential businesses to create a more prosperous economic future for Northeast Ohio. The Raymond John Ween Foundation. Youngstown Business Incubator.
Next week on Neotropolis, more buzz, stock wrap, and into the future. Find out who is not doing business as usual. Now stay tuned for Newsnight.